Hi. What do you think GPUs are going to be looking like by the year 2030? Good question, right? I see most people talk about GPUs only in like the near future, but what about the long run? You see, I've been thinking about that and I came up with some pretty interesting stuff, if I do say so myself. So here's what I think GPUs will look like 4 to 5 years from now. The minimum amount of VRAM for a GPU will be 12 gigs, though I really hope that it's going to be 16, but at least 12. And well, I say that because the 8GB debate when it comes to GPUs is a tale as old as time itself at this point. This whole circus, because I don't even know if I can call it anything else than that, started like what, 2 years ago now? Maybe even like 3 years, when things were just starting to be like, hey, 8 gigs is not really enough anymore. And here we basically have people that are on two sides of the same coin. And what I mean by that is people that endlessly shit on 8GB GPUs, myself included, and the ones that will defend them to death. But there is only one single truth, and it's not pretty. We've seen stuff like AMD just completely defending 8GB of VRAM on GPUs with the launch of the 9060 XT 8GB, saying that most people just don't need more than that, which may be true, but that doesn't change the fact that there are obvious examples, practical examples, where 8GB GPUs aren't really enough for max settings 1080p. But I'm not gonna get into that debate this video. And you can see right here, you guys probably already know this, but this guy from AMD said that the majority of gamers are still playing at 1080p, which is true, and have no use for more than 8GB of memory, which is a completely false statement. Most played games are mostly esports games, that's also true. And yada yada yada. And I think that all of these complaints and all of these examples and the lack of optimizations in games nowadays will lead companies to just allocating a little bit more VRAM to these entry-level GPUs, let's say. So when the RTX 6060, for example, comes out, I really hope that it's gonna have 12 gigs of VRAM. And that's also because I don't think that AMD or Intel are going to go any less than that, for the exact same reasons. Next, I think that there's just going to be a massive rebranding when it comes to gaming GPUs themselves, to where Nvidia, which are most likely the ones who are going to be doing this, and start the trend itself. But I think that one of these companies is going to start calling these cards AI cards. They're not really going to be called gaming anymore. Or the RTX brand, for example, is just going to completely change. And same goes for RX on AMD's part. This is probably not going to happen a year from now, but 4 to 5 years from now, I definitely see this happening, with Nvidia basically just calling every single one of their cards AI cards that can also game. And my reason to believe that is, well, this man right here. I don't know how many times Jensen has said AI in his interviews, or maybe even his day-to-day life, but I'm willing to bet that he's close to like Nvidia's net worth. And that sort of brings me to prediction number 3, which is that RTX 6000 will be Nvidia's last branded RTX lineup. Just as I said before, since they're pouring so much money into marketing and into making these cards seem like they can do everything. I mean, it's literally everywhere. DLSS is plastered everywhere, ray tracing is plastered everywhere, and then there's just the plethora of different AI features that Nvidia provides that are more prominent than the performance itself. So I think RTX 6000 will be the absolute last branded RTX card lineup. And that brings me to probably the most painful point here that I hope to God doesn't end up happening, but it's very, very likely. You guys all know how there are certain titles that have forced ray tracing, for example, Indiana Jones. We've been seeing horrible optimization over the past few years with titles like Borderlands 4 and this abysmal new Lego game that I'm really excited to see come out, just to see what the performance is looking like. Because this is the first time ever, at least to my knowledge, feel free to correct me in the comments, but this is the first time ever where I actually saw frame generation enabled in the details of a game requirements. Low 1080p at 30 FPS with frame gen enabled. Now, obviously, this isn't forced out of the box in this title, but in the future, I think that this is going to start a trend. And if they saved up a lot of money by not optimizing their game properly and then just slapping frame generation on it, and this ends up making a lot of money and the backlash isn't insane, which I genuinely hope it is, this is 100% going to start a trend. And if it does, it's probably going to get so bad that games are just going to have forced upscaling and frame generation out of the box. And by forced, I mean you literally won't be able to like turn them off. And for all of you frame generation fans out there, I'm really sorry to tell you, but frame generation doesn't fix bad performance. TechSpot made a whole article about this, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just completely absurd that a game let alone a Lego game, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this game doesn't look good, because it definitely does look very good, but that doesn't change the fact that these requirements are absolutely horrendous. And generating so many frames from such a bad base frame rate is only just like takes away from your experience. It doesn't add anything, it just adds latency, artifacting, the game feels like shit, and it's never that same feeling that you get from actual real frames. You can kind of get close to something like that if you already have a base frame rate of like 80, 90, 100, 120 FPS, but at that point, why even bother frame generating in the first place? Yeah, frame generation is just a marketing tool in my eyes, and it's not something that people should be using. At least, again, on cards that really just can't get you a lot of base frame rate. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about upscaling here, because I do think that upscaling is such a great tool. It's just that development companies are treating upscaling like a shortcut to good performance, which is it clearly isn't. Having the ability to just play something at native resolution at like, I don't know, 70 to 80 FPS, and then having a tool like DLSS 4.5 or FSR 4.1, which are amazing, get you to like 120 FPS with no noticeable difference in graphical fidelity, is an amazing thing. But then when you claim that upscaling from 360p in your game will get you 60 FPS, I don't know, man, that's just a horrible thing. That is a band-aid if I've ever seen one in my life. And that brings me to my next point, which is that DLSS and FSR aren't going to continue being just upscaling technologies. We're not just getting fake pixels anymore, because we're most likely going to get a heck of a lot more than that, just in a completely different way. Like 2 months ago, NVIDIA released this announcing NVIDIA DLSS 5 video, and well, to say that this was controversial is a little bit of an understatement. And I mean, you can clearly see why. The entire art direction of the game looks completely different. Grace here, this is from Resident Evil 9 by the way, she looks like a totally different person. Like, that's not her anymore. There's no resemblance. Same goes for Leon. I mean, sure, this is a little bit better, and it's just that sort of generative AI feeling that you get with like generating an image with ChatGPT. Hogwarts Legacy, this thing literally looks like a... Have you guys seen those like Disney AI generated things on TikTok? This is exactly what that looks like. But the thing is, this is just like a very early prototype most likely, and it's probably going to get very good in the future. Obviously, I can't comment on it too much because it hasn't come out yet, and I don't want to say things that will age like milk on a wall. But this overall trend of just going towards a more generative AI type of field is scary to me, because even though this is slop right now, it might end up being very good in the future. And this scares me because it just takes so much away from the human aspect of having good art direction in a game, or just feeling like the game itself is made by a human being or by human beings. Because if everything is going to be generated, then what are we even doing? What are we even playing? Is this even art anymore? I don't know, man. You know, being an artist and just having the ability of setting a certain style, a certain mood, a certain atmosphere that you want to create within the game, and then you have this fucking DLSS 5.0 or DLSS 6 or 7 by the time that 2030 rolls around. Just completely rebrand that entire image is just yeah, it's not great. And that brings me to my next point, which is that significant improvements in base performance just won't really happen, and everything will continue to be pushing AI stuff just like we've been seeing for the past few years. And there's a track record for this. I mean, you see improvements from the 30 series to the 40 series, which were pretty good, but then you see improvements from the 40 series to the 80 series, and this website doesn't really showcase my point enough, because it's comparing a 5080 to the 4080, and instead it should really be comparing it to the 4080 Super. But if you guys been like up to date with everything that's going on in the community, you guys already know just how much the RTX 5080 was bashed. And you can see 4080 Ti from Linus, or just the RTX 5080 shouldn't exist, is this a joke? And yeah, I mean, it's just not a good look, because the actual real performance of a 5080 is just not that much better than a 4080 Super. Sure, it's more efficient, but dude, seriously? That's basically true for every single card of the 50 series lineup. A 5070 Ti is basically the exact same as a 4070 Ti Super, 4070 Super is the same as a 5070, and etc. And at launch, just as a fun fact, the 4070 Super was faster than the 5070 in some titles because of some like driver issues, but like that just goes to show how small of an improvement everything is, with the only significant improvement being the 5090, which is considerably faster than the 4090, but again, that thing's like 5K, so who cares? So yeah, I do expect this trend of GPUs just not getting any better continuing, and then just having PTX, Path Tracing X, DLSS 7 slapped on the box, and kids that play Fortnite will buy it, or idiots like me. Now going over to the other side, I think that AMD will continue to grow a lot, but they still won't be close to Nvidia. AMD did grow a lot from AI and will continue to do so, but even in 5 years from now, even in 10 years from now, since Nvidia is the leader in the market, they do have the best technology in the market, and I've made a complete video about Nvidia being beatable at this point, so go watch that if you want to hear some more details. But yeah, AMD will for sure grow a lot more. Intel will also grow a lot more, at least in my eyes, if they don't get bought by someone else. But Nvidia is still going to dictate everything even 5 years from now. And if they don't, there just has to be something monumental that has to happen. Now on to probably my most important prediction here, which is let's say it's sort of a double-edged sword, and that is pricing. Just a very weird topic right now, because we have things like inflation, and then we have RAM prices right now, and the AI demand, the AI bubble, and just the overall uncertainty of what's gonna happen within the next year or two, I would say. Because if the AI bubble pops, then who knows what's gonna happen. I do think that RAM prices are going to go down. They're probably not gonna come back to what they used to be, but they're still going to be affordable, let's say. And I think general prices for components are going to go down too. So again, this entire pricing thing is just going to depend on if the AI bubble bursts or not. But if it does, we're definitely going to see much lower pricing than what we're seeing right now. And for my last prediction of the video, I do think that this is a good one, because I think games will start to be more optimized. And here's why. You guys all know Steam, the biggest game marketplace on earth. It's not even close. It's basically the equivalent of Nvidia when it comes to this shit. And they're working on some features that, in my eyes, really seem to incentivize game developers to really optimize their games now. You guys know how reviews work on Steam. You leave a review, and then Steam compiles all of the reviews into these things right here. And you can see for a game like Subnautica, which apparently is a very good game. I've never played it myself, so I can't comment on it. But they are overwhelmingly positive, which automatically means that as somebody who has never played this game before, I know that this game is going to be good. It's just going to be a matter of whether I like it or not. Because it just can't be bad if so many people say it's this good. You combine this with the fact that now Steam updated Steam reviews to where you can actually see the system specs of the reviewer. So now if you see somebody complaining about performance but having a potato of a PC, you can ignore it. But on the other side of things, if you see someone complaining about performance with a PC like this, then you know something's wrong. And that's only the beginning, because Valve are working on a very interesting feature. And that is that Steam could soon show estimated FPS based on crowdsourced player data. And let me just explain to you what this means in a nutshell. Let's say you want to buy this game, Hell Is Us. You go onto Steam, you go onto the Steam page, and then based on the configuration that you have, based on your CPU, GPU, RAM, and all of it, like the combo of your PC, you are going to see here an estimation of the FPS that you're going to be getting in game. And this is massive. I really hope that it's going to be implemented well, and that there's not going to be like weird estimations, because, you know, for example, in the main menu, you're gonna have a lot of FPS, so I hope somehow they manage to work around that. But anyway, let's just assume that it'll work fine. Imagine you see an amazing game and you have a pretty good system, but you see an estimated of 40 FPS with a frame generation enabled and upscaling enabled, and that's for sure gonna turn you off. So just having this one single feature on the biggest marketplace of games in the world is gonna be game-changing, quite literally. So yeah, it's either gonna be this or, again, a dual-edged sword here, because if Unreal Engine 6 comes out with a real-time ray tracing ball skin simulation or whatever bullshit they're gonna pull this time, either that or we're just finally going to see a trend of games being very well optimized again. Because if games are optimized and people buy them, that means they make money, and that means that everybody's happy. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. I wanna know what you guys think about all of these things that I've said, and if you guys have any sort of own predictions. Again, sort of by the year 2030. Let's just start there. So definitely let me know in the comments, and that's gonna be it for the day. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to have yourselves a very predictable and vivid day.